Long before it became known as one of America's most infamous haunted locations, the Missouri State Penitentiary began as a symbol of punishment and control on the American frontier. Opened in 1836 in Jefferson City, Missouri, the prison was constructed by only 20 inmates transferred from a jail in St. Louis. Missouri was still a relatively young state at the time, and officials wanted a permanent penitentiary capable of housing the growing number of convicted criminals arriving from across the region. What began as a modest stone prison overlooking the Missouri River would eventually become one of the oldest operating prisons west of the Mississippi River. Throughout the 1800s and into the early 1900s, the prison expanded rapidly. Massive limestone walls, additional cell blocks, factories, and housing units were added as the inmate population continued to grow. Conditions inside were notoriously harsh. Prisoners endured overcrowding, brutal punishments, poor sanitation, violence, and exhausting labor. During much of the prison's early history, there were virtually no regulations limiting how long inmates could be forced to work. Prisoners often labored from sunrise until nightfall under dangerous conditions with little regard for injuries, exhaustion, or illness. The prison operated heavily on convict labor, which became a major source of income for the state. Under a system known as convict leasing, private businesses and contractors could essentially rent prisoners from the penitentiary for labor. Inmates were leased out to work in factories, quarries, construction projects, and industrial operations throughout Missouri. Companies paid the state for inmate labor, while prisoners themselves received little or no compensation. The system created extremely profitable working conditions for both the prison and private industries, while inmates faced grueling hours, unsafe environments, and severe punishments if they failed to meet expectations. Inside the prison walls, inmates also worked in shoe manufacturing, tailoring, farming, and baking operations, helping the penitentiary function almost like its own self-contained industrial city. Over time, the Missouri State Penitentiary developed a national reputation for violence, suffering, and infamous inmates. Riots, murders, assaults, suicides, and escape attempts became a recurring part of prison life. By 1967, the prison's brutal reputation had become so well known that it earned the infamous nickname the Bloodiest 47 Acres in America. The title reflected decades of violence within the prison walls, including inmate murders, riots, executions, and dangerous living conditions that made MSP feared across the country. One of the prison's most notable inmates was James Earl Ray, who was incarcerated at MSP in the 1960s. In 1967, Ray escaped the prison by hiding inside a large cardboard box used in the prison bakery that was transported out of the facility. After nearly a year on the run, Ray assassinated Martin Luther King Jr. on April 4, 1968, at the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee. His connection to the prison permanently tied Missouri State Penitentiary to one of the most significant events in American history. The penitentiary also became known for its use of capital punishment. For decades, the prison served as Missouri's primary execution site. Early executions were carried out by hanging before the prison transitioned to the gas chamber in 1937. The gas chamber was used to execute dozens of inmates over the years. Witnesses described the executions as deeply disturbing, and many former staff members later spoke about the emotional toll that they carried. Today, the former execution area remains one of the most discussed sections of the prison among visitors and paranormal investigators alike. The prison's violent reputation exploded into national headlines during the 1954 prison riot, one of the bloodiest prison uprisings in American history. The riot lasted nearly 2 days and involved fires, hostage situations, and widespread destruction throughout the facility. When it finally ended, multiple inmates were dead, large sections of the prison had been destroyed, and the Missouri State Penitentiary became permanently associated with danger and brutality in the public imagination. Despite attempts at modernization in later decades, the prison continued to struggle with overcrowding and deteriorating conditions. By the early 2000s, the aging facility was no longer considered sustainable. In 2004, after operating continuously for 168 years, MSP officially closed. Thousands of inmates had lived and died behind its walls, leaving behind generations of stories marked by violence, isolation, punishment, and survival. Today, the prison operates as a historic site and museum, drawing visitors from around the world who come to explore both its history and its paranormal reputation. Reports of shadow figures, unexplained voices, footsteps, and sudden cold spots have made the penitentiary a major destination for ghost tours and investigations. Whether viewed as a historical landmark or a place forever shaped by tragedy and suffering, MSP remains one of the most haunting locations in American prison history. We will begin our investigation inside Housing Unit 1, one of the oldest surviving structures within MSP. Constructed during the 1860s expansion of the prison, the unit was built with stacked tiers of narrow cells, iron walkways, and heavy limestone walls designed for constant observation and containment. Its structure reflects early penitentiary design priorities focused on control, separation, and strict regulation of movement. Housing Unit 1 is also connected to the early history of female incarceration at MSP. In May of 1842, the first recorded female convict, Amelia Eddy of St. Louis County, arrived at the penitentiary after being sentenced to 2 years for grand larceny. She was released only days later due to the lack of adequate facilities for women, highlighting how unprepared the institution was at the time to house female prisoners. For decades afterwards, women remained a small but present part of the penitentiary population as the system slowly adapted to their incarceration, many of which stayed in Housing Unit 1. By the early 20th century, more structured arrangements for female inmates began to take shape. In 1926, 64 women prisoners were transferred from the main penitentiary to Prison Farm No. 1, located a few blocks east of the facility. This relocation marked a shift in how female labor was organized. Rather than working in prison factories as they had previously alongside the men, the women were assigned primarily outdoor labor, including gardening and raising hogs and chickens on the 15-acre farm. This change reflected broader penal practices of the time that emphasized agricultural work for women inmates and reduced their involvement in industrial prison labor. Housing Unit 1 remained an active part of the penitentiary through these evolving policies and shifting inmate populations, serving as a witness to changing correctional approaches across more than a century of operation. As we move through these cells during our investigation, keep in mind that what you're actually looking at is not just empty space or restored architecture, but the physical limits of how human beings were once held here inside MSP. These cells were originally designed for 1, maybe 2 inmates at most. But during periods of extreme overcrowding, that limit was completely abandoned. Historical conditions show that at times up to 12 people were forced to share a single cell meant for a fraction of that number. Imagine that density of bodies in a space built for solitude, where movement, sleep, and basic privacy all collapse into one another. There was no toilet inside the cells, no heating system, no air conditioning. In winter, the cold would have cut through the stone and iron with no barrier, and in summer, the heat would have built and lingered with no ventilation beyond what little air passed through barred windows and narrow corridors. Every sound would have carried, every shift, every breath, every movement of discomfort shared and amplified in close quarters. As you watch Mitchell and I move through these same spaces today, it's important to understand that what feels like an empty, echoing corridor now once held lives packed tightly together under conditions that pushed endurance to its limits.
Yeah, it sounds like a knock on the wall over here.
Yeah, I heard a knock too.
I think we pick a cell, and I think we do. Did you hear that?
Yeah, what was that?
Sounded like a little shuffling.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was me. That was me.
Will you pick us off? This one looks clean.
Sure, and here we go. You're like the dog that has the stick and can't go in between. Did you hear something over there?
Yeah, I did.
I was pointing us over there, that's good.
Hello. I'm good, how are you? Fine. I'm glad to hear it. Well, my name is Taylor.
My name is Mitchell.
What's your name? Iwana? Did you say Iwana? Yes, okay. Well, it's so nice to meet you. Are you okay if we talk to you for a little bit? Okay. Yeah, there is a camera. We're recording. Are you okay with that? Do you like the camera? Well, that's cool. I'm glad you like it. You're very outgoing. Can you tell me about your family? Well, I'm sorry to hear that. What do you do for a living? Is there anything that we can do to help you? Yeah, what can we do? Okay. How do you feel about being here? You're fine with it? Do you have any other friends around you here? Was this your cell? Do you want to share why you were here? No judgment here. You from Missouri? Okay. Is there anything that you would like to tell us about yourself? Any of your hobbies or interests? Are you trying to push that bell? I heard it. You might have to push it a little bit harder. Good try. Alright, well, is there anything else you'd like to share with us before we go? You're fine? Okay, well, we really appreciate your time and for talking to us. We have cats at home. 4 of them. Very cool. We love cats. We're cat lovers too. Well, thank you so much for your time. And we hope that everything goes well for you, okay? Goodbye. Did you hear that?
Yeah, that's someone, right?
Well, I thought it was somebody, but there's nobody in here. You heard that, right?
No, that like straight up sounded like someone.
Well, I'm gonna check, but there's nobody in here. No, Mitchell, there's nobody in here.
Well, that was someone. That sounded exactly like someone.
There ain't nobody in here.
No, it's them.
It's them.
Literally.
They're like, it's not a person.
It's not
it's
a
us.
person.
Oh, she was so lovely. So sweet. Likes cats.
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't? How many ghosts do we bond over cats?
Screen flag.
I swear she said her name was Ilana. Oh.
She's trying. Well, this was the all-female block, right?
Yeah, this
For
is
a long
women.
time.
This is the women, yeah.
You're just having a time with that bell. She's trying. I see you trying.
I really enjoyed her. She was just lovely. Yeah, she was just so great. I couldn't get over her.
She can't get over you.
We now enter Housing Unit 4, also known as A Hall, one of the most historically significant structures inside the Missouri State Penitentiary. We were joined with McKenna, who was kind enough to invite us on this investigation. Built during the early 20th century expansion of the prison, this building reflected a shift toward more organized classification of inmates based on behavior, security level, and institutional status. Its long central corridor, stacked cell tiers, and reinforced construction made it one of the primary housing areas for inmates under close supervision. The main tiers of A Hall were used for high security housing for disciplinary segregation, but over time the unit's role shifted significantly. At certain points in its history, A Hall housed exclusively African American inmates, reflecting the segregation practices that were present within the broader American correctional system during parts of the 19th and early to mid 20th centuries. During other periods, it became one of the most sought-after housing units inside the penitentiary. Inmates who demonstrated sustained good behavior for 3 years or more could be transferred into A Hall, where conditions were considered more desirable than other general population areas. This reputation developed because A Hall allowed for more privileges compared to any other unit. Inmates assigned here were sometimes permitted to purchase higher-end items for their cells, including upgraded furniture and even televisions during later decades of the prison's operation. In some cases, prisoners were able to personalize their spaces to a degree not seen elsewhere in the facility, making the unit uniquely stratified within the prison's internal system of privilege and control. Additionally, these cells had windows, unlike any other building, and the inmates could control the airflow in their room, which was highly sought after due to the lack of heat or air conditioning. Housing Unit 4 also housed several notable figures throughout its post-Civil War and 20th century history. Among them was world heavyweight boxing champion Sonny Liston, who was incarcerated at MSP during a later period of his life. Accounts from his time at the prison include claims that he kept a full aquarium inside of his cell, a rare example of personalization within the penitentiary system. Another notable inmate associated with A Hall was John Reno, a member of the historic Reno Gang, one of the earliest documented American train robbery groups. Below the main floors of A Hall lies the dungeon, the most severe level of confinement within Housing Unit 4 at the Missouri State Penitentiary. This underground section was designed for extreme disciplinary isolation and operated as a space where inmates were removed entirely from the social structure of the prison above. Unlike the tiered cell blocks in the main housing areas, the dungeon consisted of compact, enclosed concrete cells built into a low-light subterranean environment where sound, visibility, and human interaction were heavily restricted. Inmates placed in these cells were confined under conditions of near total sensory deprivation. The cells were small, windowless, and constructed from bare concrete, with heavy steel doors that further limited airflow and external stimulation. Once secured inside, the environment could become disorienting, with minimal natural or artificial light and very little auditory reference from the outside world. Movement outside the cell was extremely limited, and contact with staff or other inmates was reduced only to what was necessary for containment and control. Over time, this type of isolation contributed to the dungeon's reputation as the most psychologically intense environment within the penitentiary. Historical accounts of the broader disciplinary system associated with this area also describe the use of corporal punishment during earlier periods of the prison's operation. Within this framework, a whipping post was reportedly used as a formal method of inmate discipline in certain eras. This practice reflected correctional standards of the time, which allowed for physical punishment as a means of enforcing order and compliance. Documentation and historical accounts indicate that corporal punishment could be administered up to a regulated number of lashes, cited at 99 times, with anything beyond that threshold considered excessive under the institutional standards of the period. Together, the main levels of A Hall and its underground dungeon represent two sharply contrasting functions within a single structure. Above, the building reflected shifting systems of inmate management, classification, and in some periods, even privilege-based housing. But below, the dungeon represented the most severe end of disciplinary confinement, where isolation was used as the primary tool of punishment and control. Today, this combination of structured housing and extreme isolation makes Housing Unit 4 one of the most historically layered and heavily investigated area of MSP, preserving a physical record of how correctional practices evolved over time within its walls.
We're going to start the spirit box session We would like to speak to some spirits that are down here with us. We come trying to just talk to you. We want the best. We don't want to offend you or anything like that, but we would love to talk to you if you'd be willing to talk to us.
Kayla?
Kayla? Is that your name?
Find her.
Find her? Can you give us some help? How are we going to find her? Did she mean something?
Fire.
Fire? Did this Kayla mean something to you?
Someone is starting to arson.
Gentle.
Is that what you did to be in this place? Is that what you went to prison for? Was a fire?
Want her life.
Want her life? Are you jealous of her? Is she a tour guide here?
Wrong.
Okay.
I think there's someone named Rob.
Put me here.
Oh.
There's a Rob here with a Rob and Teresa. Was Rob down here talking to you?
Told.
So Kayla did something that got you here. She told on you. What did she tell
Not
you?
wrong.
Yeah, not wrong. That is one way to say it. What did she accuse you of?
Determined. To ruin her life.
Okay. You're mad at her. I get that. I mean, this seems like there was just unspeakable tragedies here. I'm sorry you had to go through that. Were you wrongly accused?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Not.
Is this a male spirit we're talking to?
My back is getting like really cold. Like freezing. It's weird.
I think you're just pulling energy from over there, huh? Have you ever done this before?
Yes.
Really? So people do this a lot for you. Do you like when people come investigate?
No.
Yeah. You prefer to be left alone?
They're dumb.
They're dumb.
Are you standing in the doorway? It's okay if you are.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Confirmation.
That's okay. So let's learn a little bit more about you. I know you mentioned Kayla, but what's your name?
Calvin.
Calvin. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Calvin. My name is Mitchell,
McKenna.
and that's Taylor over there. We just want to talk to you. We want to know your story.
Weird girl.
Which one? Can you say one of our names?
This one.
Yeah, Taylor. You think she's weird?
Yep.
You know how excited she was to come down here and talk to you? This was the place she wanted to go. Calvin, would you be willing to talk a little bit about what happened here?
The truth?
I would love to know the truth. I want to hear it from your perspective. This is an opportunity for you to tell your story.
Only?
Like on his story?
Uh-huh. Yeah, well, we're going to talk. We talked to you, we talked to someone else in the other building, but I want to hear your story.
You can come sit in his chair that's empty. That makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah, we've done this before. We don't get scared really easily.
Torture.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. It seems just absolutely awful what happened here. I'm so sorry you had to go through that.
It's getting like really, dark.
Yeah.
Like behind, I know I'm in a blindfold, but like
Yeah.
it gets like darker.
Yeah, you're.
Experiencing.
Yeah, I'm sorry you're upset. Yeah. You're trying to freak her out, I get it.
How old are you?
$30?
I'm so sorry you spent your life here. It's terrible what happened here.
Eyes are like watering so horrifically.
Yeah.
They burn.
Are you stuck down here? You don't have to stay down here if you don't want to.
Eyes?
Yeah, I know. So a lot of times, Taylor can experience a lot of emotions, and I know there's a lot of very traumatic and heavy emotions that you're experiencing. And I'm sorry if I'm putting you through that. We don't have to talk about it.
It's like touching my back. It's like nothing harmful. I'm just getting like poked at. It's like
Why don't we talk about some of the positives?
a little
Yeah. Why don't we talk-
fun.
A little fun. That's okay. Why don't we talk about some of the positives? Did you have kids?
No.
Did you want kids?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so sorry you weren't able to experience that.
So
Well, it's still really hard.
I feel like they're using sarcasm as a mechanism.
Oh, for sure. It just seems like there's so much negativity here. Are you able to go upstairs or out into the courtyard? No, you're stuck. No, you're stuck here. There must be a lot of other spirits here too.
I'd be gone. I'm not.
No, he's not gone. I don't think
I'm
so.
not getting anything.
Calvin, what do you want to talk about?
Warnings.
Warnings for us?
To Kayla.
To Kayla. What would you like to tell Kayla?
Find her.
Was she your sister? Was she your friend? Was she your partner?
Yes.
Which one? Partner? No, not partner. Sister? Was she a friend? Okay.
I don't want you touching me here, thank you.
They do get kind of.
Why do you insist on touching her so much, Calvin?
Beautiful. 17.
Oh, is this Kayla?
Maybe she looked like her.
No.
Resembles.
Or she reminds you of her? Calvin, do you remember what year you were here?
Don't remember.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. Did you like music?
I like.
Who was your favorite person or group to listen to?
Kenny.
Kenny.
Ken Chesney is what I first thought.
Kenny Chesney. Kenny Loggins.
This place stopped running in 2004, so
Could be.
would've-
No, well, that's great.
was it country music?
Is there, okay, I'm asking something that I can't fucking hear you. Why am I asking you a question? But I guess I'll say it. I'm hearing yes, you just said what I was gonna say. Booming. Like, I'm hearing it in here, but I'm like, it's so loud. It's like, I'm like, is it something out here that you guys are hearing, or am I just hearing it? But then you said what I was gonna say.
What's that sound? What are you playing for her? It's got to be a sound from your past, I'm sure.
Gunshot.
Gunshot. Were the gunshots on this property? Are you making that noise?
Shouldn't be.
Shouldn't be. That might be a noise that just plays here. Yeah, but you can hear it. We can't. Taylor can.
I'm getting like itchy. It's like the weirdest situation.
Do you think you can knock on something for us?
He's not saying anything. He hasn't said anything in a while. I'm getting like messed with, so I know he's still there, but I'm not hearing anything.
Mm-hmm. Calvin, who else is here? You still there, dude?
I'm feeling at least 3 or 4 in here.
It's a couple.
Like not just in here, but like
There.
down here.
Yeah, I think there's a couple for sure.
I don't know if like most of them are like CL and maybe there's like 2 of them down here. But
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's gone.
Calvin, you still here? He got tired.
sorry.
No, we'll tell you. I think he got tired.
It almost kind of felt like someone wanting him to not talk.
Possible. Can you go tap her? Just very gently.
Was am I being tapped out or did he just touch me?
Tap her again.
Okay. I didn't want to like scare you. He was like touching me all over the place and I was like crying and like.
I did your legs because I knew he was touching you over your shoulder.
The last location we will be taking you through is Housing Unit 3, one of the most historically important and notorious sections of the Missouri State Penitentiary. Constructed during the late 19th century as the prison expanded to meet growing inmate populations, Housing Unit 3 became one of the penitentiary's primary housing structures. Built with stacked cell tiers, narrow iron walkways, and rows of steel-barred cells, the unit reflected the prison design standards of the era, emphasizing surveillance, confinement, and maximum use of limited space. For much of its history, Housing Unit 3 functioned as a general population housing area, though conditions inside were often severe due to overcrowding and institutional tension. Inmates lived in cramped cells under strict routines with little privacy and constant exposure to noise, violence, and disciplinary control. Over time, the building also became associated with some of the prison's most serious offenders and highest security inmates. Housing Unit 3 is perhaps best known as the origin point of the infamous 1954 prison riot, one of the bloodiest prison uprisings in American history. On September 22, 1954, unrest that had been building for years over overcrowding, deteriorating conditions, restricted privileges, and tensions between inmates and staff erupted into open violence inside this housing unit. The disturbance rapidly escalated into a prison-wide takeover as inmates gained control of multiple sections of the facility, took guards hostage, and set fires throughout the prison. The riot lasted nearly 2 days before state law enforcement and the National Guard regained control. By the end of the uprising, parts of the prison had been destroyed, multiple inmates were dead, and MSP's reputation as the bloodiest 47 acres in America became cemented in public memory. Housing Unit 3 also housed death row during part of the prison's operational history. Inmates sentenced to execution were confined within this building while awaiting transfer to the execution process carried out elsewhere within MSP. The presence of death row added another layer of psychological intensity to the unit, as condemned inmates lived separated from the general prison population while awaiting their sentences. Below the main housing tiers was an area known as 3D, one of the most unusual and historically significant sections of the building. This lower level was used to house inmates who were considered criminally insane or mentally unstable under the standards of the time. During eras when mental health treatment within correctional institutions was extremely limited, inmates suffering from severe psychiatric conditions were often confined rather than medically treated. Conditions in 3D reflected those broader institutional practices, with inmates isolated from the rest of the prison population inside a restrictive and heavily controlled environment. Historical accounts describe 3D as a deeply unsettling section of the prison where inmates experiencing severe mental distress were housed in close confinement with minimal therapeutic intervention. Rather than functioning as a treatment facility in the modern sense, the area primarily served as a containment unit for inmates who could not safely remain within the general population. The combination of isolation, deteriorating mental health, and restrictive confinement contributed to the area's dark reputation among both inmates and staff. Today, Housing Unit 3 remains one of the most heavily discussed areas of the penitentiary, both historically and paranormally. In addition to its documented history, the building has become associated with reports of unexplained activity from visitors, staff, and investigators over the years. Among the most frequently discussed stories are reports of a towering 7-foot shadow figure, said by some to display protective behavior toward the hallway that he remains in. Other accounts describe sightings of what witnesses refer to as a crawler, a low-moving, humanoid figure reportedly seen in darker sections of the building, particularly near the lower levels and isolated corridors. While these claims remain part of the prison's paranormal lore, rather than documented history, they have become deeply tied to Housing Unit 3's modern reputation during investigations and overnight tours. Today, the preserved corridors and cell blocks of Housing Unit 3 stand as a stark reminder of the realities of prison life during some of MSP's most violent and turbulent decades, where documented history and modern legend now exist side by side within the same walls. For the final part of our investigation, we decided to set up inside one of the cells in 3D, the lower level of Housing Unit 3, once used to confine inmates considered criminally insane or mentally unstable under the standards of the time. Even today, this section of MSP carries a very different atmosphere from the rest of the prison. The concrete corridors are narrower, the lighting is minimal, and the isolation of the lower level creates an environment that feels noticeably removed from the activity of the units above. Among staff members and investigators, this area has developed the nickname Creepy Town, a name tied not to documented history, but to the number of unusual experiences repeatedly reported there over the years. According to guides, employees, and paranormal investigators, many people entering 3D describe sudden feelings of extreme discomfort, anxiety, or emotional shifts that seem disproportionate to the environment around them. Some visitors report being overwhelmed with sadness, agitation, or fear without being able to explain why. Our guide also told us that there are only 2 members of the staff that are willing to go down into this area by themselves.
All right, so we have some gear set up in front of us. College.
I believe there's a college nearby.
There's a college nearby. And Columbia's not far, right?
Mm-mm.
So my name is Mitchell.
I'm Taylor.
And we just are here to talk to you. You seem to be enjoying that little guy over there. I think blue is temperature down, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have a couple things for you. Oh, thank you for turning on the flashlight. You figured that one out pretty easily. The other thing we have is all the way back and the right behind the flashlight, there's that black box with the antenna sticking out of it. Thank you for turning the flashlight off. If you go near that, it'll beep.
Yeah, if you put your hand near the antenna.
Mm-hmm. And then the little red bell on the left. You can make that ding too.
Do you think you could tell us your name?
Are we staying? We're not gonna stay. I saw you do the little guy in the corner though.
The REM pod, yep. We're just visiting.
We're visiting.
Just for tonight.
But we want to talk to you.
Is that okay?
Here, there was a lot of people that stayed down here. Were you one of the inmates that stayed down here? I think I'm gonna take that as a yes.
Was that you who made that tap right there?
I think that's a pretty firm yes.
Thank you.
We appreciate you communicating with us. We know it's not easy for you.
What was that? That was like
A scream?
holiness.
Holiness?
Whoa. Was that you?
What else was weird? The birds stopped.
Birds got scared.
See, now they're coming back. Here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Were you religious?
Thank you for turning on and off the flashlight. Do you like when people come and visit you? We know you have people here a lot. Harassed.
I'm sorry. Emmeline.
Emmeline?
It's the name Emmeline.
That's pretty close to the name you got.
Shh. We just got shushed.
Oh, okay, sorry. Maybe it wants us to listen.
We can just listen and not ask questions if you feel more comfortable with that. I'm okay with that. Is that what you want us to do?
If you want us to listen, can you set off the REM pod in the corner?
The black box.
The black box? Sorry that you feel harassed. I know you just live here.
And if you don't feel comfortable with us being here, we can leave too, if you prefer that. Okay, we can go.
That was a pretty clear message to me, I feel like.
We can absolutely go. Okay, dump.
No, damp.
Damp or dump?
Damp, D-A-M-P.
Oh, I heard dump. I was like, dump? Okay, well, that's fair. Damp. Yeah, we can leave. That's not a problem at all. I'm sorry for bothering you. I appreciate you letting us know kindly, though.
It was fair. It was kind of you.
Okay, we'll clean up and we will go. Not a problem.
I wish we had an offering or something we could leave.
We should really get like a bag of stuff that we can just keep in our gear bag and take to locations.
Yeah, I feel like we should do stuff like tobacco or something.
Like $1 or anything.
Yeah, I have money.
Even if it's like $1, like 50 cents.
Do you want to leave $1 here?
Yeah, let's leave them $1. Yeah, we should leave an offering for sure. We're going to clean up, and Mitchell is going to give you an offering, okay? To thank you for your time.
You want me to do it now?
Just
So, this is an offering for you. We're gonna leave this for you.
grandmother?
Grandmother.
Oh, did you forgive us?
We're forgiven.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, we'll get out of here.
Hallway, that is where we are headed. We just have to clean up our stuff. We're sneaked. Did we sneak in here through the hallway?
Or maybe they snuck through the hallway.
Maybe one of the two.
That one's talking all over the place.
Yeah.
We should have given him $1.
I should have them cash. It always works. I don't know why the spirits like cash, but that's what they want. Yeah, we are
Yeah, we're gonna get out
out
of
of here. We just gotta clean up first, but we are gonna go through the hallway and head out.
Was that you?
What?
Whistling?
No.
You didn't hear that?
Don't whistle.
You didn't hear that?
No.
I swear that was you.
Mitchell, don't whistle.
That's why I was like, that's weird. Why did you make
Have
that
you ever
noise?
heard me whistle?
It sounded like it was you.
I
That was weird.
don't whistle.
I hope I got that. I really hope I got that.
We heard whistling in the other building, remember? As our investigation came to a close, one of the things we wanted to do was attempt to verify some of the information we were given during our sessions by comparing it against historical inmate records from the Missouri State Penitentiary. What we quickly discovered, however, is that researching individuals connected to MSP is far more complicated than it first appears. Although MSP maintains a searchable inmate database, it only covers 1836 through 1931. A significant amount of the prison's historical documentation is incomplete, inaccessible, damaged, or simply missing altogether. Over nearly 170 years of operation, records were lost through deterioration, inconsistent record-keeping practices, administration changes, fires, transfers between institutions, and the reality that many inmates, particularly marginalized individuals, were never thoroughly documented in ways that survived into the modern era. In some cases, records contain only partial names, ages, or arrest information with little additional detail attached. One of the individuals that I attempted to research was Iwana, but I was unable to locate any definitive records matching the information we were given. During the investigation, she stated that the reason she had been incarcerated was because she wanted a wife. While that statement may initially sound unusual through a modern lens, historically it is entirely plausible within the social and legal climate of Missouri during earlier periods of the penitentiary's operation. Throughout the 19th and early 20th centuries, individuals perceived as violating social expectations surrounding sexuality or gender expression could face arrest or incarceration under broad morality laws and public order offenses. Charges such as gross indecency, immoral behavior, crimes against nature, disorderly conduct, vagrancy, or lewd conduct were unfortunately often used selectively against LGBTQ+ individuals or those viewed as gender nonconforming. Missouri also had historical ordinances tied to masquerading, particularly in cities like St. Louis, as early as the 1840s. These laws made it a misdemeanor for a person to appear in public wearing clothing not belonging to his or her sex. In practice, these ordinances were frequently used to target members of the LGBTQ+ community, drag performers, and gender nonconforming individuals. Because of this broader social and legal environment, it is, unfortunately, historically plausible that someone could have faced incarceration, institutionalization, or arrest connected to same-sex relationships or gender expression, even if surviving records no longer clearly reflect those circumstances. In many cases, records involving these individuals were poorly documented, deliberately obscured, or altered within institutional systems, making modern verification even more difficult. We also attempted to investigate the identity of Calvin based on details we received during the investigation. Within the penitentiary's available inmate database, there were 3 inmates named Calvin who were listed at age 30. Of those 3, 2 had arrest records that did not align with the story that we were given whatsoever. One record did appear more consistent with the information we received from Calvin, but there is still not enough evidence to say with certainty that this was the same individual. There is a huge gap in surviving records and the likelihood that there were many more inmates at age 30 named Calvin over the prison's long history, so any conclusion would remain purely speculative rather than factual. In many ways, that uncertainty does reflect the broader history of MSP itself. Thousands of people passed through these walls over generations, but not all of them left behind complete stories. Some exist only as fragments in surviving paperwork, while others may have disappeared from the historical record entirely. Whether viewed through the lens of history or paranormal investigation, MSP remains a place where many identities and experiences were never fully preserved, leaving investigators today to navigate the space between documented fact and unanswered questions. Thank you so much for joining us for this investigation, and we hope to see you next time.